Hello everybody, this is George, your UK-based carnivore, based in Bridgewater in Somerset, England. Just checking in after a recent video. This is my third day back at work, and I just got a few topics I'd like to talk about today. The first thing I'd like to talk about is I've just watched the news this morning. Apparently there are some severe wildfires over in Los Angeles, which is in Southern California. One of my great friends on this channel is Dawn Resting Witchface, who lives in the Big Bear area east of Los Angeles. So blessings to you, Dawn. Hopefully you are okay. But it's very sad to hear about the people who have been very badly affected. About 30,000 people by these wildfires, which have been fed by that wind, which I think you flagged up on your last video that you kindly did for us. So keep us informed, and our thoughts are with you. Right, January. It's my third day back at work, and it is a time really that it's the sort of the dead time of the year. We are being very slow to get back into the swing of things. I have just walked into work 40 minutes through freezing cold weather. Even with my gloves on, my fingers were frostbitten, it felt like anyway. So January is a time really for when we should be naturally hibernating, and it should be a time for reflection and planning rather than for action. It's not surprising that many of us are feeling the blues of it, because it is cold, it's miserable, it's dark at this time of the year. Christmas is just gone. There's a lot of flu and cold and various other norovirus about and that sort of thing. So anybody out there who is feeling the blues, don't worry, we all are, but we'll get through it. The sun will always also shine. We are gaining 2 or 3 minutes of daylight every day now, until we eventually reach the spring equinox on March the 21st, and then we have a lot more daylight than we do at night. So that's not too long to go. So just be patient, everybody, and we'll get there together as we always do. Yes, also it's a time for planning. It's a time for looking ahead. I'm sure a lot of us have got some good stuff happening this year. I know I have, that's for sure. As you know, Ziggy and I like to go walking together here in the hills of Somerset, and we have another walk planned for a little ridge on the Mendips called Crook Peak. And invitation out there to anybody within a striking distance who would like to join us. I will certainly announce it in the time. You know who I'm talking about, don't you, Celia? And also, I have a new friend in Weston-super-Mare who will come on to later. I don't yet know them, but it's interesting that somebody else has reached out to me from near where Ziggy actually lives. So you never know what might become of that. Also, this year, Lainy and myself and the family, we are celebrating our 60th birthday. We will be celebrating Lainy's 60th birthday in a glamping area where we rent out some luxury lodges. I'll put some pictures of those on the community page, so that you know what I'm talking about when we come to do it. And of course, then we have the big one. On August the 2nd of this year, here in Somerset, we will be hosting the Great British Meetup for hopefully about 200 people. Carl from the Primal Lifestyle has got the area where you can actually book in should you wish to. And myself and Sarah of Healthy Carnivore UK make up the committee. So we are very much looking forward to it. The venue is booked near Glastonbury, and the caterer is booked. So something a lot to look forward to there. And then of course we get into summer and the halcyon days, the days of the decent weather and the sunshine. So we'll make the most of that. We'll try and get out, do some grounding, maybe go to the beach. We'll have a look nearer the time. And then of course we go into autumn, or as our American friends would know it, the fall, which includes Halloween, which I know that Dawn Resting Witchface is a great fan of. And then before you know it, we're into Christmas again. So that'll be the year gone. So January will soon pass, the blues will soon pass, and we'll be into the year. So right, a quick update on my day today. Really, I've walked into work and sat down and discovered that my great mate DC, Learning to Live over in Brisbane, was doing a live. I jumped on it and we had a great chat about fitness and health in general. And I don't know if any of you saw my Christmas interview at DC, but I gave a full update of my wife Lainy's cancer journey. DC has been a great friend to us. He is a cancer survivor, stage 4 lymphoma twice, has an amazing story himself. If any of you don't know it, please go and check it out. But I told her how really we are having a very bumpy ride, myself and Lainy, with her breast cancer, with the complication of Paget's disease. So the bone infusion has caused a horrible side effect where she's losing her teeth and her jaw is crumbling. However, there is one small, not upside, but there is one small success story here, because she had a condition known as lymphedema in her left arm, which meant that she had swelling and the fluid just wouldn't clear. It meant that she had to wear a compression sleeve to keep it in check. And over Christmas, she was complaining, "Oh, this compression sleeve has become slack. It's obviously getting a bit tired. It's losing its elasticity. I had to go and get a new one when I go for my lymphedema checkup on the Monday, the 6th of January, which indeed she did." And it wasn't that the lymphedema was losing its elasticity, it's that the lymphedema had virtually gone. So she has to wear this sleeve only for another 6 weeks, and if there is no worsening of the condition or no deterioration of the condition, then she can actually be declared free and no longer have to wear the sleeve. So there's something very much to look forward to. It is just a small victory in this battle against this horrible disease called cancer. Other than that, she's upbeat and is just enjoying, day-to-day life really is. So yeah, that's all I've really got to say about that. Right, so the final thing I'd like to talk about is, I think most of you are aware that I tried an experiment the other day to get people to announce their location in the world so that we can actually try and get some people together. We'll try and build physical community. It was an interesting experiment, and I'm glad to say that across 2 channels, this one and also Home Said How, Kerry Mann's channel, more than 22 of you actually responded. It's interesting. I don't think we can actually get anybody necessarily physically together, apart from myself and Ziggy, believe it or not, because we actually have one person from Weston-super-Mare jump on and say that they live just up the road from us. That person being more authenticity. I don't know much about you, but if you're on this site, then reach out to me and we'll see if you want to join us on these walks, or whether there's anything that we can do to improve the community. The other nearest success story, I think, was California. Dawn in the Big Bear area, and I think Rebecca in the San Diego area. So that wasn't too bad. That was probably on Kerry's channel, I think. But I've got a list actually of where everybody is. So we'll start with the UK. We'll separate it into continents, I think, to basically keep it simple. So from the UK, we had my new friend Jill from Dartmoor in Devon. We had South Wales, Weston-super-Mare twice, which is Ziggy and More Authenticity. An excellent chat from Teesside, which is the north-east of England. We saw Essex, we saw the Welsh Valleys, we saw Cheshire, and we also saw the Cheshire-North Wales border. We saw County Down in Northern Ireland. We saw Norwich in Norfolk over in the east of England. We saw Kent, and obviously Kent is where the Lee Coppice Kent Carnivore is, although the person who came in from Kent knows of Lee, but apparently they're not that close. So that covers the European continent, except for South Dublin in the Republic of Ireland, and also a lady, Tanya, from the Netherlands. Tanya does know who the Dutch Carnivore is, so she does have a bit of community over in the Netherlands. So switching to the US of A, thanks Lynn Tucker Carnivore, who's currently in Liberty Hill, Texas, although we'll be moving early in this year. We've spoken about Dawn and Rebecca in Southern California and San Diego. My great friend Larry, the Carnivore Soldier, who I happen to know lives in Jarrell, Texas, also came on, and I know that he and Lynn do have physical community already in Texas, which is nice. We also saw Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Papa Carnivore was kind enough to jump on and say that that's where he originates from, even though he is now in Florida. we saw both southwest Ohio and central Ohio. So that's a near miss, shall we call it? Not too far off. We've seen Oregon. And finally, for the US of A, we saw Wichita, Kansas. Now, I don't know much about Wichita other than that there's a great song called The Wichita Lineman by Glenn Campbell, which is one of my favourites. So there we go. And finally, we'll go down under, and we found New South Wales twice, interestingly enough. So New South Wales is represented twice. And we also saw New Zealand as well, which is obviously Professor Bart K Company. And I also happen to know that there are 3 carnivores in the Queensland area of Australia. So anyway, that was a really fascinating little exercise. Something may come of it, but I would like it if we could, on other people's channels, especially the bigger ones like Homestead How, who's very supportive of it, because he actually sort of gave me a big shout out when I posed the question. Yeah, I think it might be a good exercise for the future. See if we can build some local communities as well as the international communities that we already have. So those are my thoughts of the day. Really, we're already up to quite a decent time of over 11 minutes, getting on for 12. So big shout out to all of you, and thanks very much for tuning in. And I will see you again before too long. Bye for now.